Beginning, the encounter. The night had fallen over the orbital hub of Ardent Station, a glittering ring suspended in the void above the planet Lyra 9. Neon lights reflected on the polished hulls of docking ships, and the low hum of the station's energy core gave the corridors a comforting rhythm. I had been traveling alone for weeks, moving between sectors, salvaging small contracts, and keeping a low profile. A simple, uneventful life until that night. I was nursing a drink at the station's dimly lit bar, a place where travelers and low-level traders mingled. Most people were wrapped up in their own worries, credits, contracts, and survival in a galaxy that didn't care. Then she appeared. She was unlike anyone I had ever seen, tall, poised, and radiant in a way that seemed almost unreal. Her dark coat shimmered faintly under the artificial light, and her eyes, they were golden, reflecting the neon in the room like molten sunlight. She approached the bar and ordered a drink in perfect galactic common, her accent subtle but undeniably commanding. I watched her from across the room, trying to convince myself she was just another wealthy traveler passing through. But something about her made the air feel heavier. Magnetic. Dangerous. She glanced in my direction, and for a moment, I could swear she was looking straight into me. I froze. And then, before I could think, she walked over and said, almost teasingly, "Mind if I join you?" "Not at all," I replied, trying to hide the sudden rush of adrenaline. She smiled faintly and sat beside me. "It's rare to see someone alone here without an entourage or a shipment to guard," she said. Her voice was soft but carried authority, the kind of tone that could make people follow her without question. We talked for hours, or maybe it was minutes. Time felt warped. She was witty, intelligent, and mysterious. She never revealed her origin, nor her purpose on Ardent Station. We laughed, shared stories, and the bar emptied around us until it was just the two of us and the faint glow of the station's lights. By the time I left with her, the corridors were silent, save for the distant hum of machinery. She led me to a private shuttle docked in a quiet bay, an unmarked vessel sleek enough to slice through space like a dagger. I couldn't help but notice the insignia on the side, a symbol I didn't recognize, intricate and almost regal. "Where are we going?" I asked. "Somewhere quiet," she said, and the twinkle in her eye made it impossible to ask more. We spent the night together, laughing, sharing, connecting, but she remained enigmatic. She never spoke of herself beyond trivialities, and every time I tried to learn more, she'd smile and change the subject. By dawn, I felt I barely knew her, and yet, somehow, I knew everything about her presence mattered. Middle, the revelation. The next morning, I woke to the soft hum of the shuttle's engines. She was already awake, staring out the viewport into the endless stars, her silhouette framed by distant nebulae. "Beautiful, isn't it?" she asked, not looking at me. "Yeah," I said, still dazed. "It's unreal." She finally turned, and in that moment, the calm I had felt all night shattered. Her eyes gleamed like the core of a dying star. Her expression was no longer playful, it was commanding, absolute. "I need to tell you something," she said, her voice measured but urgent. I nodded. "Go ahead." "I am not just a traveler," she whispered. I am the queen of the Andromeda Dominion." I blinked. My stomach dropped. I laughed nervously. "You're joking. That's impossible." She shook her head. "I swear it is true. I command fleets, planets, systems. The lives of billions are under my rule. And yet, last night, I was just a woman seeking a moment of normalcy. With you." It took me a moment to process. She was telling the truth, the shuttle's advanced systems, the insignia, the way she carried herself, it all made sense now. She wasn't just mysterious. She ruled an entire galaxy. "Why tell me this now?" I asked, still in disbelief. "Because, you need to know who you've been with." And because what happens next will affect us both. Before I could ask, alarms blared. I instinctively grabbed a control panel. The shuttle's AI blinked red. Warning, unidentified Dominion fleet approaching. Identification confirms, Queen Andromeda's security detail. Hostile intent detected. Her calm expression cracked for the first time. They don't know I left. And if they find me, or worse, if they know you were with me, her words trailed off. The shuttle shook violently as the fleet closed in. She grabbed my hand, her grip firm, grounding me in the chaos. We have to escape, she said. I stared at her, realizing the irony. The woman who could command the stars was now depending entirely on me, a mere human salvager, to survive. Escape and the bond. We plotted an escape through a nearby asteroid belt, weaving the shuttle between massive rocks that would have shredded most craft. I had flown through dangerous terrain before, but the pressure was nothing compared to the weight of responsibility I now felt. She assisted in navigation, her knowledge uncanny. Every command she gave, every suggestion, it was precise, calculated, efficient. I realized she was a master strategist, not just a ruler. I followed her lead, heart pounding as Dominion fighters pursued us relentlessly. Hours passed. I could barely breathe. Yet, during a brief calm, she looked at me and said, I could have left without you, but I didn't. You make me feel human again. The words struck me like a supernova. Here was the most powerful being in the galaxy, yet she craved something ordinary, connection, trust, intimacy. And she chose me. Finally, after a tense chase and daring maneuvers, we found temporary safety on an uncharted moon. The landscape was jagged, volcanic, and barren. We landed the shuttle in a small crater, away from scanners. She finally allowed herself to relax. Sitting beside me, she gazed at the horizon. I cannot stay hidden forever, she said. My fleet will come. They will demand answers. And you will be caught in the middle. I'll survive, I replied stubbornly. If we have to fight, we fight together. Her eyes glimmered, and she smiled for the first time in hours. That's exactly why I trust you. The night on the moon was quiet. Stars shimmered overhead, endless and infinite. For the first time, she let herself be vulnerable, talking about the pressures of ruling billions, the loneliness that came with power, and the fear of never knowing what life would be like outside her throne. I listened, silent but supportive. Somehow, in a single night, we had gone from strangers to allies, and perhaps something deeper. Confrontation and choice. The following day, the Dominion fleet located us. Massive ships loomed above the moon, weapons charged, ready to enforce their will. She stood at my side, no longer mysterious, no longer playful. Queen Andromeda in full regalia, yet stripped of arrogance, relying on a human beside her. They will not harm you, she said quietly. But if you attempt to stop them, you will become my target as well. I'm not leaving, I said. A tense silence fell. Then she stepped forward, raising a communicator. Her voice, calm yet commanding, reverberated through the air. Attention, Andromeda Dominion Fleet. I am present. My companion, a human salvager, is under my protection. Any aggression toward him will be met with force. Stand down. The silence that followed was deafening. Then, one by one, ships began to retreat. A single ship remained, her second in command. He communicated directly. Your Grace, the human, is he to be spared? She looked at me, her amber eyes unwavering. He is mine to decide. And I choose to keep him. The fleet backed off. The galaxy obeyed the will of its queen, and she had chosen to protect me, a simple human. Ending a new beginning. Weeks passed. We traveled together through hidden routes, far from the eyes of the Dominion. She taught me about her galaxy, its politics, its secrets. And in return, I gave her something she had never experienced before: companionship, honesty, and the sense of being equal. Our bond deepened, forged in chaos and choice. She was the ruler of countless stars, yet she laughed at my bad jokes, argued about trivial decisions in navigation, and sometimes let herself be just human. One night, while gazing at a binary star system from our shuttle, she took my hand. "Do you realize what you mean to me?" she asked. I smiled. "I think I have some idea." She leaned closer. "A human, and the queen who commands the stars. An impossible pair, yet here we are." "We make it possible," I replied. She rested her forehead against mine. "Then I will follow you, as long as you allow it." "And I will let you," I whispered. The stars stretched endlessly before us, infinite in their brilliance, infinite in possibility. And together, a human and the galaxy's queen, we ventured into the unknown, not as ruler and subject, but as equals, companions, and perhaps something more. The universe had shifted that night, and there was no turning back. A single night had changed everything, and it was only the beginning. Please video like and subscribe this channel.